Hello.
Hello.
Hey, hello.
Hi, it's Kyle Meredith in Louisville. How are you?
Hey, hi,
Kyle, how are you?
I'm great. It's good to be talking to you both.
I like Louisville.
Yeah, so do I. I love living here.
Yeah, that's a
do I.
nice town. I like your airport.
It's
the
a
little
small airport. Yeah, they
That's
call it.
why I like it.
Yeah, they call it an international airport, but it's not real. It's not true.
Well, but
I like it.
it's not the size of the airport; it's the motion of the flights. So
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing in our case. We have a lot
It's a good
to
thing.
we have a lot to overcompensate for, I guess. Hey,
your words, not mine.
we should jump in here. I know we're on time limit, and I know I'm another cog in the whole thing today. So I do want to congratulate you guys on Post Pop Depression. What a fun record. Sometimes a scary record, but mostly a fun record.
I'm glad you got
Yeah.
that. I think sometimes Did you notice this, Ig, that sometimes just because the word depression is there, people go, "Well, it's so dark."
I know.
You're like, no, just don't.
The first guy that's caught the fun in the record.
It's a total
this-
fun record. It is.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there's a lot of different moods that go along with it. And in fact, what I actually heard on Showcase, Iggy, was your voice. And
Yeah,
was,
man.
well, I guess
Josh was very kind to me as an arranger. He left all sorts of space for the vocals, and he wrote some killer melodies, and he got me the best engineer.
Yeah, Mark Rankin is
Mark
wonderful.
Rankin, who worked with Adele, baby.
Yeah.
and you sound just like Adele. I can vouch
thank
for
you.
that. By the end
Well,
of-
when you have Kanye West's auto-tune, you can do anything. And I had a studio musicians and all this team of writers that wrote the, I forgot, but they're amazing.
so amazing.
We
you
weren't
forgot.
actually there. It was just other people.
Right. But in truth, though, I know through the years, when you think of Iggy Pop, it's not always the first thing that comes to mind with the voice. But your last few records, those French songs, particularly,
Them French songs.
them French songs,
Louisville.
yeah,
The French songs were my kind of homework
Yeah.
for leading up to this record, and that the reason I made those was I hadn't been successful in finding anybody in the English-speaking world who wanted to let me just sing melody and be a baritone. So I found that in the French songbook more, and also some of Sinatra's old stuff I was covering. And it gave me good practice for
I think it was a great reveal too about there's all these crooning moments throughout your catalog,
right.
and that's these concentrated crooning moments, which as a fan for me were, I was like, yeah, no, it's a no-brainer. That's what I'd love to hear, and I think this. At first, we were in agreement to not box this in and define it because it just wasn't necessary. But it became clear that this is an Iggy Pop record, and that means that the music can't. Mark Lanigan had this, always would say to me, "Do whatever you want as long as you turn it down." But he said that because he can be very cruel, honestly. No, I love that he said that because it was like, don't challenge this, and I really think that's intelligent. When you have that crooning moment, you let it shine.
yeah. I guess for you, Josh, that actually working with Mark this whole time, and I hadn't thought about it, does also set you up to work with Iggy with one of those great baritone voices and how to make it work within the rock structures of this style, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the luxury of collaborating with, I mean, a lot of people, and the experience of that has all sort of been this wonderful, natural preparation to be ready and feel comfortable doing this, and so I'm really thankful for that, and and guys like Mark are also a one of a kind voice and fella, and so the understanding of recognizing when somebody has just something that is unlike everyone else in itself is a cool thing to have its experience with.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've someone once called me a shepherd of the weird but I really think that it's
That's pretty good.
I think really what it is accepting people for who they are, not attempting to, you know what you should do?
Right.
You should get, you should get this job and walk the, I love enjoying people as they are and turning that up. So, yeah, there you go.
Well, for Iggy, for you, and while we're talking about this, I can't imagine at this point like you really have anything to prove. But did it seem like, because it feels like you did want to put that voice out there like that? Is this like the
always
last
something.
thing?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to prove.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
That was it was about that.
It was exactly.
And
about that.
also about having something being able to engage lyrically, having something to say. Those
Right.
two things.
There's a lot of interesting things that you said on here. It seems like sex and death were running through a lot of the themes, which I
Well,
appreciate you not, you can say that
That's
they can
me.
exist.
Yeah. Sex and death, baby. Yeah. But I mean, I've got to also, don't forget tamales and bank account. That's very important.
There's something between them, sir.
It's not like I'm not a realistic guy. I realize everybody needs two things. You need a bank account, you need some tamales before you can go with the sex and the dying.
And then you can die once it's over.
It's the connecting thread.
Actually, I like that. Go have sex and die.
Yeah, right. Well, that is the French, the little death.
Yeah, the
little petit mot.
There it is again. There is. I don't think I want to interrupt that again. There's one line though that so stands. I mean, there's a few lines, I guess, but when you do the repeating line, "I have nothing but my name," it goes from this. It sounds like it's like a call for help at first, and then turns into a battle cry that really reminds me of like "I will fight no more forever."
I will fight what forever?
I will fight no more forever.
Oh, that was Josh's idea.
Mm-hmm.
I had the line in the song, and he dared me.
Double dog, actually.
Yeah, just talk it twice
Yeah.
at the end. So he saw something there and pushed it another step. And it's quite an experience just saying that. And then I started to think, you start to think, is that okay?
Yeah, well, I mean, I
yeah.
think things like that in the wrong hands
Yeah.
are traditionally you're forced to deal with something like a spoken moment at the end in the wrong hands, and so you're a bit brain trained to immediately jerk your hands back and go, oh, well, no. But I think this situation had this allowance to. There's an emotional shift that happens. You hear that, and it's slow, so there's time,
Right.
and so you actually get to sort of traverse this emotional gap, and this was the moment to try things that are uncomfortable because that's where it works.
I've noticed several people. It seems to be a grabber for some people.
That's like the scream in lobby too.
Yeah.
Is another,
Well,
things like
I
that.
was thinking, when the early rockabilly and rock started in the 50s, the shocking thing about it was that these people were screaming. You were supposed to sing nice, and you were supposed to
you can't do that.
sing like Perry Como or Bing Crosby or sing nice, and then all of a sudden there were these screaming people. But now, we've had 65 years of screaming,
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
and so to achieve the same kind of shock, you almost have to find a quiet moment and just say something.
Yeah,
maybe.
make someone hang for a sec.
Yeah.
That
So
hang time.
It was a good idea he had.
The other extreme. You talk about that. I mean, there are yelling parts and everything. Is that for you genuine anger, or is that part of the entertainment of rock and roll?
Oh, it's fake anger.
fake.
No.
You're talking about the soliloquy or monologue at the end of Paraguay, and what happened. Picasso used to say, "I paint what I see," and I'm a front guy, so I say, "Well, I'll sing what you give me."
Yeah,
so in that part of that song, the song was something I had written before I called Josh. I was at a loss creatively, and I wanted to continue in that sort of, if you will, the certain French direction I'd been hinting at, with melody and feeling. And I wrote the verse and chorus to that about how I just wanted to walk away. Just walk away. And I felt like, why don't I? I've got enough money. And I knew I wasn't gonna. You know?
Well, that's what I think is interesting
Yeah.
about the song. When we add that end part, it almost feels like, the dream is I'm going to get away, but then you realize I'm not going to make it.
No.
Actually.
And
So
so
like, all right,
Josh,
fine, fuck you then.
Josh wrote the words and music of the Middle Eight, put a bridge to the song, which we do a lot of back and forth like that, and then he wrote that sadistic outro. Boy, I mean, you want to have a little rock and roll on this record? Here's some rock and roll. Jesus Christ! And if it feels like it's like the most pleasure I've ever gotten out of a whipping. It felt like a whipping, and it was so strong in the room. And Matt Helders was asking him a question about how, at what points he wanted him to develop the intensity of the beat, and Josh just waved a hand in my general direction and said, I don't know, it's all up to whatever he does right now.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, right? So I was on the spot. So what you've got there is I tried to delve in to the next step, or in other words, the original verse and chorus are kind of polite. And now, what's really bothering this guy? What's bothering me?
He won't
and
make
so it came out, and it was genuine, but I also realized it's funny, too. And, some of it is, I know that, so
But it took us aback when that, because we only played it 4 times, that whole
Yeah.
song, and each ending was different. And each time we looked at each other, I don't know if you picked this up, but we were like, wait a minute, whoa. I mean, it stopped us in our tracks. It's amazing.
Let me tell you, I was listening on a laptop, by the way, when I heard that, and I just wanted to shrink and disappear. I know.
This is you. No, yeah, I'm talking to you.
And then I have to interview them the next day? Oh, great. That's
It was not written out, by the way. It was, it's ad lib, thoughtful ad lib.
Yeah.
I would describe it as.
It's such a powerful moment, and just to, while we're on the subject of lyrics, to throw this other one in there, everybody's scared, fear eats all the souls at once. I thought a mantra of our time, if I've ever heard one.
I certainly noticed
I agree.
the incessant news flashes it's been over a year since that was recorded, that vocal, and I seem to hit a wave. Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
But I think the record is that there's an important side of that for me, that your life is kind of the measure of a life is the fears you've faced. And you don't have to, if you face them, you don't have to be unafraid of them, because some shit is scary, but at least and I think that mantra of this for the record too is pursuing things that feel a little bit odd or uncomfortable at first, but that's where the good vulnerable stuff is. And that line is should be written down and nailed to every wall in town.
It really should.
I mean, I realize that it's kind of dumb to imagine that I could just transfer all my funds to a bank in Paraguay, buy a little compound in the trees, and receive love and affection from my servants and bodyguards.
But it's worth a thought, man.
But
it would be great.
But I think about it.
If you did it, I could come over. I'm thinking like, hey, let's
I
help
realize
Iggy.
that's not the way. That's not a nice guy thing.
Thanks for leaving me here. Yeah, that's.
I think of that, and then you open your eyes and you're stuck in the muck where you really are.
Right,
where it's
right.
like, God damn it, I'm not going to make it.
Right. This
If
is
I
it,
just shut
you
my
know?
on the inside of my eyelids is tattooed this dream.
it.
Well,
So I had to settle for Miami.
you had to settle for Miami.
You can
Yep.
almost see Paraguay from there.
I'm headed to Turks and Caicos on my honeymoon in a couple weeks, and maybe I'll just stay there. I'll take your advice and I'll
Would
stay
you say
there.
Turks and Giggles?
Sure.
What'd you say?
Turks
you're
and
headed to
Caicos. It's islands
sorry.
beyond Florida. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from the desert. I don't know enough about that.
Anyway, all
You'd
right.
like it. They're desert islands.
Yeah. There's no
It's
sand.
just like-
Sand. Yeah, good. I'm cool with
Yeah.
that.
Well, thank you guys. It is a unique record. It's a beautiful record, and it is a fun record all the way to the apocalypse. I mean, it honestly is sex and death. A good time till it's over.
Well, you got to listen to some during both. So
That's right.
There you
All right. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. I appreciate
See
it.
you later.
All right. Bye.